Coming up on BCN today, emergency responders will be joining forces for a memorial stair climb this weekend, honoring those firefighters and police officers who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. And federal candidate forums are coming up in our region. We tell you where and when. And at least 20 people are dead as strong earthquakes hit Indonesia and Turkey.
Your Canada. Your southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. The Lethbridge Fire Department and EMS unit are looking for people to sign up for the 9th annual 9/11 stair climb. The event is held to remember the 343 firefighters and 70 law enforcement officers who died at the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. Ainsley O'Reilly reports just how meaningful the event is for our local firefighters.
It is the big thing. The biggest thing is that they did save lives. They saved copious amounts of lives. But what the fallout from the whole thing is in all these years that have passed since, we can't forget that. And we also can't forget the fact that of all the lives that they've changed in a profound way.
After September 11th, 01, so much changed. When everyone was running out, first responders were running into the chaos to save lives. This Sunday, here in Lethbridge, everyone is encouraged to participate in a fundraiser which remembers those brave men and women.
But we'll be climbing the Melcor Tower downtown. That's the old Lethbridge Tower. We're going to do an equivalent of 110 stories, and that's the same distance as the World Trade Center as it stood before the attacks on 9/11.
You start doing the tower and you think, man, this is hard. And then you start thinking, these guys did it. 343 of them did it. 70 police officers did it. Copious amounts of paramedics did it also. And they did it without hesitation.
Registration closes Thursday, and you can sign up at raceroster.com.
The event is just $40 to register, and all of the proceeds go to Legacy Place Society, an Alberta-based charity that assists first responders, military members, and their families. For Bridge City News, I'm Ainsley O'Reilly.
Thank you, Ainsley. They are small, ill-tempered, hungry, and if given the chance, they could play a much larger role in preventing deadly wildfires. A goat grazing project has been developed by the City of Lethbridge. The goal is to minimize the amount of highly flammable grassland areas within the city limits.
In 2017, we had a wildfire management plan conceived for us through a consultant. And he identified all along basically Scenic Drive as one of the major sources for grass fires in the coulees. So we're going to basically cover that area on the top behind the houses, that the grass that leads right up to the house. We're going to try to get that back at least 100 feet, 30 meters, so we can make sure that the fire doesn't come up to houses for grass fires. So.
Well, this time of year, I mean, they sure like shrubs and brush more than they like the grass. So you kind of got to hold them on the grass longer, but it's not hard to put them on the brush. So it's just a matter of they're eating and moving all the time. So as you go across it, you might have to go across the same area 8-10 times instead of holding them on it, because they're a herd animal and they'll keep moving and eating as they're walking. So you'll go for a ways, turn around and come back, and you'll keep crossing back and forth. All the neighbors have been excited. They've come out and met us, and John's our herder, and they bring him out coffee, and they've just loved. Everyone's excited that we're doing a project trying to help save their home.
A $20,000 grant from Forest Resources Improvement Association of Alberta will be used to fund the project, which is now underway. The 30th Annual Children's Wish Giant Pumpkin Festival will be taking place at Greenhaven Garden Center this Saturday. From 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., you and your family are invited to participate in the fundraiser. 100% of the proceeds will be going to the Children's Wish Foundation of Southern Alberta. The cost is just $5 for each child's wristband.
There's games and there's bouncy castles, the big obstacle jump, and then there's a little bit smaller one for the younger ones. They can just go in there safe. And there's lots of little games that they can play. And we have 2 other blow-up games. One's a baseball game and one's a basketball game. Those are lots of fun. And then they have the petting zoo, and there's wagon rides, and there's pumpkins to decorate, and there's face painting, and there's some balloon people will come and make the little special balloon animals and things like that. The petting zoo is a big draw because they don't always see those little animals, and the horse-drawn wagon rides. Those are a huge hit. So they get to go on a wagon, get pulled around with the great big Clydesdale or Percheron horses. So it's just fun.
Pumpkins will also be available for purchase by donation. It will be the field trip of a lifetime for students from GS Lakey and Chinook High Schools. They are headed to Eastern Europe, New York, and Music City, USA, and Nashville, Tennessee, beginning next year.
There's two tremendous opportunities for Chinook students coming up in Easter 2021. The first is a trip through Eastern Europe, and the second is a theater trip to New York City. There's a tremendous opportunity for students to experience live professional theater. That's the best in the world. We'll be seeing 3 Broadway shows. We'll be doing backstage tours of some of the plays, and we'll even spend an afternoon doing a workshop with a local actor. So they will cover a lot of the drama curriculum.
We're going down there to perform, so we're going to have a chance to perform at Graceland and at the Grand Ole Opry. So the idea of getting self-discipline and work ethic, they're going to have to really practice a lot to get good on their instruments, to get it to a quality that's good to be performing in Nashville.
It's a great opportunity for them to visit this music city, as it has an opportunity for them to experience what music production and performance is in the big city. Nashville is a great hub for all great musicians, not just country music, but for concert bands, to jazz bands, to pop music, everything there. It's a musical hub.
Such a cool experience. Students from each school will be flying out next April and in the spring of 2021. The Helen Schuler Nature Center just received the largest personal donation in its 37-year history. The group received $20,000 for its outdoor learning classroom and amphitheater project. The donation will be used to replace the worn outdoor amphitheater. The new outdoor classroom will enhance the Nature Center experience for schools, families, and tourists. Since 2018, the outdoor classroom project has received more than $244,000 in contributions. There has been a big spike in booze thefts. That is according to a recent report by the Alberta Liquor Store Association. It says there have been 5,000 liquor store robberies in Edmonton so far this year alone. That's a 300% increase over last year. The association says that it has been told by police that gangs are behind most of the robberies. A former medical student who was convicted in 2018 of raping an unconscious woman at a Calgary house party in 2014 has been denied bail. Prachur Shrivastava received his 45-month prison sentence on August the 28th. His defense lawyer originally asked the judge to send his 27-year-old client to jail for about 9 months. A couple of Calgary city councilors want police to review a decision to shut down the Victoria Park police station. The councilors say a police station is needed in the inner city. Jeremy Farkas says the area has seen a big rise in mental health and addictions problems since a safe injection site opened around the same time the Victoria Park station closed. Police say they are using a mobile command center to cover the area for now. City Council is hoping that they will get some answers from city administrators later this fall. On Friday, the RCMP is set to release the results of its investigation into the murders of 3 people in northern BC and the manhunt for 2 teens across 3 provinces. 18-year-old Brian Schmagulski and 19-year-old Cam McLeod were found dead of self-inflicted gunshot wounds last month in northern Manitoba. The Mounties have already provided families with the updates of the murders of UBC botany lecturer Leonard Dick, American China Deese, and her Australian boyfriend, Lucas Fowler. The federal election is coming up October 21st, and candidates across the country are campaigning. There are federal candidate forums coming up that will allow you to ask your local candidate questions on issues that you're most concerned about. SACPA will be running a forum October 2nd at the U of L's new BMO Theatre from 7 till 9 p.m. You can join Bridge City News at the Lethbridge Public Library Forum October 3rd from 7 till 9 p.m. and again at the Yates Theatre October 7th for the event hosted by the Lethbridge Chamber. The Coaldale Chamber of Commerce is also expected to host a forum early next month. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is promising if he wins the October election, he would launch a judicial inquiry into find out what happened during the SNC-Lavalin affair. He made the promise during a campaign stop in Liberal leader Justin Trudeau's Montreal riding of Papineau. He says an inquiry would finally give Canadians the answers that they deserve. Scheer also announced a 20% refundable tax credit for eco-friendly home improvements.
As Prime Minister, I will establish the Green Homes Tax Credit that will allow you to lower your home's emissions through green renovations. This 2-year program will encourage Canadians to renovate their homes with emission-reducing technologies. With our plan, you will be eligible to receive a 20% refundable credit on your income tax for green improvements to your homes of over $1,000 and up to $20,000.
Scheer says it will mean people who invest in energy-saving home renovations will save some money. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is promising to protect 1/4 of Canada's land and 1/4 of the country's oceans by 2025 if his government is re-elected. Trudeau made the announcement after paddling a canoe in the conservation area of Sudbury, Ontario this morning. He's also promising to expand the Learn to Camp program, which helps lower-income families spend up to 4 nights in a national or provincial park. Trudeau also said a re-elected Liberal government would introduce interest-free loans up to $40,000 for green renovations.
Now people will be able to replace those leaky windows with that old furnace, not only making their home more comfortable and lowering their monthly bills, but also keeping our environment healthy. It's a win-win-win.
Trudeau says Liberals would invest $100 million in skills training for the construction of new net zero homes. In Surrey, BC, People's Party of Canada leader Maxime Bernier talked about putting up a guarded border fence in Quebec to prevent illegal immigration, and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was in Vancouver to promote his party's plan to crack down on money laundering and speculation in the housing market. Singh says, meanwhile, he will not discuss details of a conversation he had with Justin Trudeau about the Liberal leader's history of wearing brown and blackface. He did say, however, that he will speak up for Canadians who were hurt by Trudeau's actions.
So Mr. Trudeau did call me. We did have a chat. And I said that I wanted to keep the conversation private because I didn't want to be used as a tool in his exoneration. But I also want to make it clear, it doesn't matter if he tells me anything, really, right? Because I'm not a proxy for the people of Canada. The people of Canada that were hurt, they need to know that he understands. The people that were in Canada that feel like he doesn't see the struggles that they go through, that he ignores those struggles, and his policy decisions ignore those struggles, they need to know that he cares.
One of our political contributors, Brian Lilly, says the Trudeau blackface scandal, according to the recent polls, did hurt the Liberals and helped the other parties.
The Conservatives are up 2 points from 35 to 37. The Liberals are down 2 points from 32 to 30. So that's a 7-point spread nationally. In Ontario, the Liberals dropped 6 points. The Conservatives went up, I think, by 2. The NDP also went up by 2. So the NDP's at 18 points, the Liberals are at 34, and the Conservatives are at about 36, 37.
Catch the full interview with Mr. Lilly discussing the tax cut promises the federal party leaders are making coming up in the second half of our show. In Washington, a declassified whistleblower complaint released this morning shows senior White House officials moving to lock down all records of a July phone call between President Donald Trump and the Ukraine's new president. The complaint says the whistleblower learned about the effort from multi-U.S. officials. Today, the White House Intelligence Committee will hear testimony about the complaint and details of the July 25th call in which Trump's Trump prodded the Ukraine's leader to work with Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Attorney General William Barr to investigate rival Joe Biden. Giuliani says the phone call is really no big deal.
This whole thing began with an allegation that the president said to the president of the Ukraine, I'm not going to give you a $250 in military aid unless you investigate Joe Biden. When you read the conversation, there's no mention of $250 million.
You read it?
There's no mention of military aid. There's no quid pro quo.
This is the transcript?
Quote the president of the Ukraine. The only one who's significant here, if anybody was pressured, the only one who could be pressured is the president of the Ukraine, not Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler.
So can I just back up?
President of the Ukraine says, I wasn't pressured. End of case.
I know.
Over.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you, did you read the transcript?
Let's say it was read to me.
Meanwhile, Trump said Wednesday the impeachment inquiry is the worst witch hunt in political history.
Look, it's just a continuation of the witch hunt. It's the worst witch hunt in political history. We have the strongest economy we've ever had. We have the best unemployment numbers we've ever had. African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, lowest in history. Best numbers we've ever had. Our country is doing phenomenally well. We have rebuilt our military to the tune of $2.5 trillion. We have the strongest military on earth. If you look at the vets, if you look at any group, they're doing fantastically well.
Police have set up barricades around the Paris apartment of former French President Jacques Chirac as people bring flowers to mourn his passing at the age of 86. Chirac is being remembered as the president of charisma and charm, a man of the people who drank beer instead of wine. His popularity went through the roof after France opposed U.S. President George W. Bush's military action in Iraq back in 2003 on the grounds that it was illegal. Strong earthquakes have hit Indonesia and Turkey, with at least 20 people dead on one of Indonesia's less populated islands. The 6.5 magnitude quake caused parts of a building at an Islamic university to collapse, and officials say more than 2,000 people took refuge in shelters. The 5.8 magnitude quake that hit Istanbul sent school children and residents into the streets and collapsed part of a mosque. But there are no reports of deaths in that region. Well, I have some bad news for those of us who hate the dreaded S word. Say it isn't snow. Environment Canada has issued a winter storm watch for parts of southern Alberta. Up to 30 centimeters of snow is expected to fall by Monday in some areas, with up to 50 centimeters in the forecast for higher elevations in the southwestern part of the province. Complete weather details are coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here's a look at your weather highlights. For today and tomorrow in Lethbridge, 16-degree high. A chance of thunderstorms today. Tomorrow, we've got some rain in the forecast with a high of 7. There's actually going to be a lot of precipitation coming up in the forecast in the near future. I'm sorry to tell you this, but lots of flurries coming up for this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, highs of 0 and 1 degree. Lots of snow, though. The whole southern Alberta region is going to be seeing about 50 centimeters of snow. More snow on Monday with a high of 5. But sunshine back in the forecast on Tuesday and Wednesday with highs of 10 and 12 for those days. So we'll be happy to see that. According to the almanac, the average temperature for this time of year is 18 degrees and the average low is 3 degrees. Our highest temperature on this day was back in 1943. We registered a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius and a low of -4 back in 1965. The sun woke up this morning at 7:23 a.m. and it's going to go to bed tonight at 7:22 p.m. So days getting shorter, unfortunately. Over on the west coast, looking at the national forecast now, Victoria, high of 18 degrees. We've got some rain over there in the forecast. Chance of showers as well in Vancouver, high of 16. Showers up in Edmonton as well with a high of 9. High of 12 degrees over in Calgary and chance of thunderstorms. Over on the prairies, rain, rain, rain everywhere. Saskatoon, high of 9 degrees, high of 11 in Regina. Showers, more showers in Winnipeg with a high of 15 degrees. Looking over to our friends in the east, we're going to go over to Toronto. They're going to see a high of 21 degrees. There's going to be a little bit of sun peeking out over some cloud there with scattered showers. Ottawa, chance of thunderstorms there as well, high of 19. And Montreal, high of 16 degrees with a chance of showers as well. Over on the East Coast here, Fredericton, one of the only places in the whole country today that's going to see the sunshine at all. High of 21 degrees there. High of 18 up in Charlottetown with a mix of sun and clouds, some scattered showers. Showers as well in Halifax with a high of 20 and rain in the forecast for St. John's with a high of 11. That's your forecast. Here's a look at community calendar.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. Christian recording artist Steve Bell is performing in concert September 28th at First Baptist Church in Lethbridge, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Enjoy a night of stories and music, featuring old favorites and new songs from his latest album, Where the Good Way Lies. For tickets, visit stevebell.com or call 1-800-854-3499. Southern Alberta Crime Stoppers is holding their first ever 5K Color Fun Run on Saturday, October 19th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Legacy Regional Park in Lethbridge. All proceeds to go to Southern Alberta Crime Stoppers. For more information about the run and volunteer opportunities, email lcsa1983@gmail.com or visit Southern Alberta Crime Stoppers Facebook page. Easy Does It is an Al-Anon support group for adult children of alcoholics. Get an opportunity to share about your experiences with those who understand and learn healthy coping skills for your relationships. This group meets Thursdays at 7 p.m. at the Church of the Good Shepherd. For details, call Judy at 403-329-0661. And that's your Bridge City News community calendar.
Today's daily life hack is sure to help you when you run short on condiments. Are you out of mayo? Well, you don't want to go to the store probably, but here's something you can do. Blend together 1 egg with 150 milliliters of olive oil. It works just as well. And that's today's daily life hack. Who knew, right? Well, I recently had the opportunity to meet a remarkable 6-year-old girl who rode her bike across an entire province. But it's why she did it that's getting so much attention.
Abigail Higgins points to the sleeping bag that she has attached to her mountain bike. It's the bag that she slept in for over a month this summer. And this is the bike that carried the 6-year-old from Victoria to Lethbridge in just over 40 days.
We were biking across BC, 44 days on the trail.
Abby's riding partner, her dad, Bob Higgins.
She was in her element the whole time, and she sang and danced and talked my ear off for all day, most days on the bike, eh? And
yeah.
We've always been pretty close, her and I. We've adventured and traveled and done lots of sports and travel and backcountry life and camping together. Abigail's been a backcountry girl for a few years now, so she can pitch a tent and catch and clean a fish.
And now add riding a mountain bike over 1,800 kilometers and 15,000 meters of elevation.
Our trip went from, we rode down East Hastings in Vancouver, part of our trip, and then out into remote wilderness and over 7 mountain ranges and everything from water slides to wildlife to lakes and rivers.
Along the way, the father-daughter duo did it all and saw it all, including a close encounter with a bear.
4 of them, and the 4th bear we almost hit by inches. From me to my bike. My dad could have reached and touched the officer's handlebar.
The two have become practically inseparable following a tragic year.
We've had some tough life experience, Abigail in particular, the last year, and Abby lost her mom back before Christmas last year, and so we wanted to kind of push the reset button.
And through this adventure, Higgins learned some powerful lessons he'd like to pass on to other parents.
I think we just want to encourage people that, this isn't crazy or outrageous. We can do this, and so can our kids. If we set aside our mental blocks or reorganize some of our priorities for what's really important and get ourselves and our kids out there in nature.
For Bridge City News, I'm Jeanette Rocher.
Some inspiring words to live by. Coming up after the break, the Trudeau Liberals have taken a bit of a hit at the polls over the blackface scandal. One of our political contributors, Brian Lilly, has the details. That's next. Stay with us.